This physically hurts me to say, but there is a scarily big chance that aespa is reaching its downfall. And this is because aespa has literally lost the plot. To understand the death of aespa, we will go over what the I concept was, its evolution, how it died, and the pros of its death. That all sounds good though. If the death of the I concept was a good thing, why is this video about aespa's possible demise? This is because we will also be discussing the secret branding success rule aespa followed up until Dirty Work, which is the one time that they stopped and possibly ruined everything. But before we continue, a quick disclaimer, this is not aespa hate. This video is built off of my observations and research about aespa's brand. Absolutely in no way am I trying to hate on the members. So with that aside, let's move on to the birth of aespa and their brand. aespa was really weird because they didn't follow trends with their music and concept. So aespa's debut was back in 2020, I think November of 2020, which was kind of when K-pop still had some color in it. aespa was one of the many groups that took part in this colorful era, but that is where the similarities with other groups ended. The Black Mamba music video was very bright, but the most important visual aspect was the glitchy cybercore video game vibe. Other groups like KDA, NCT, and EXO dabbled in a similar concept, but no one got as intense, as dedicated, and as successful as aespa with it. A lot of people like to label aespa as girl crush, but aespa isn't girl crush. Not everything that isn't cute is in turn girl crush. aespa was something brand new. aespa's special charm, or their driving force, was their dedicated lore. Their sci-fi, futuristic storyline was one of the most meticulously planned and executed. Not horribly complex, but still intriguing. Pre-Black Mamba, we had a lore video that introduced Karina's eye that went like pretty viral on TikTok, like the audio.
Hi everyone, I'm Karina.
The eye are basically like aespa's digital, digiverse, metaverse counterparts. We also had the birth of the SM Culture Universe episodes, which were these very epic, like movie-esque, lore-focused episodes. They explored different types of production styles, which was my personal favorite part about them. They had scenes that were drawn in more of like a comic book style, then like these video game style parts, and also like real-life acting moments. It was so epic. I'm a aespa defender. Then, with Next Level, they continued and further solidified their aespa style. The music video had backdrops of planets, spaceships, and other sci-fi tech. Just like Black Mamba, the lyrics in Next Level were also very heavily lore-based. The sound of the song was also a perfect next step after Black Mamba. Black Mamba is described as dance pop, electro pop with some EDM. It's a bit more on the mild side and kind of a safer debut, but Next Level really took aespa to the next level. Next Level is a bit more on the edgier side and definitely emanates more of a Kwangya vibe, which Kwangya is like their like kind of wild digi metaverse world. It's built from EDM, trap, electropop, but then it has a little NMIX change up moment where they actually switch it up into an R&B segment that is actually a sample or a remake. I think the proper term is a remake. Savage and Girls are aespa's darker eras, both visually and sonically. For Savage, the premise is that they are fighting with Black Mamba, which is kind of like the villain of their universe, with like an evil snake woman played by Boa. But in the song, basically what they're saying is that, I will fight you, Black Mamba, I'm a savage, and if you don't finish me off now, I'm gonna become even more savage. The color scheme consists of a lot of dark blue, neon green, and black. They are filming in these sci-fi, glitchy realms, but also have scenes where they cut to this very pink video game-esque HQ. We also have a wonderful eye feature. Savage is a bit more blunt than the previous songs. The instrumental kind of feels like you're getting hit on the head with like a metal pole, but like in a good way. That's a really terrible analogy. What I meant to say is that this is a very vocal-heavy song with an instrumental described as hyperpop, trap, and electropop. Girls is our final battle against Black Mamba. Basically, the plot of Girls is that we invade her base and then we destroy her. Girls follows a combination of electropop, EDM, and trap, with once again lore-heavy lyrics. So far, it's kind of the darkest in terms of color scheme, really channeling that final battle aura. Like, some of the scenes of this music video are just so epic. They feel so video gamey, so eerie. It really nails the vibe that it was going for. This music video is one of my personal favorites. Just, it's so beautifully executed. You really feel that like final battle aura with the heavy usage of blood reds, eerie greens, and black. The music video is very fight scene heavy and has super tech, cyber, sci-fi vibes. Speaking of vibes, I want to show you my outfit of the day. I feel very much like I belong in like a Disney princess movie. Oh, I actually got new gloves as well. Back to aespa though, this song run gave aespa a brand. A brand is your identity. Your unique identity that makes you stand out next to your competitors. It's like a bunch of little things that define you. People may not actively think it, but subconsciously it's what they associate you with. You are known for that. It's your reputation. aespa was known for their silver sharp font that everyone associated them with, their cybercore AI tech concept, and their cold, powerful lore. That's why aespa's collabs with video games, tech companies, and sharp high luxury brands makes sense. aespa's brand, their reputation, what they are known for, matches with the brands that they work with. To bring an example, why did companies like M&M's, Acne Studios, and Candy Magic all work with Eyelet? Because Eyelet represents a fun, youthful, whimsical teen brand, which is just what these companies are looking for. aespa had a solid brand, but they also had a problem. K-pop works very differently from the Western industry, where in the Western industry you need to have a solid brand with a certain vibe for like a decent amount of time. Ariana Grande kept her like baddie era going from, I think it was 2016 to even like 2021, you can say. And that's not even a good example. I'm just not into, I don't really care for Western artists, so I keep bringing up the same examples. But a better example would be Rihanna, because Rihanna kept her kind of like bad girl era from her bad girl brand from 2009 to all the way to 2016. Back to the point though, if K-pop groups stick to a similar concept for too long, they will eventually be pressured by K-pop stans to try something new. Which never made sense to me, because like imagine if you got sick of Taylor Swift's like her signature Taylor Swift style, heartbroken soft pop, like you wouldn't be spamming her social media accounts telling her, try out a new concept, try out the Weeknd concept, do something different. Like you would just listen to a different artist. Sadly though, it doesn't work like that, and eventually groups will inevitably be attacked and labeled as boring and repetitive for sticking to their niche. This was happening to aespa. People were doggy-piling onto girls, calling it their worst era ever. Others were getting sick of the concept, and after Lee Soo-man would eventually leave SM in 2023, Spicy would be aespa's last lore-intense comeback. Spicy was a mark of a new beginning, lore, concept, and image-wise. So basically, super simplified, the plot of Spicy is that, so they defeated a black mamba, and I think like Kwangya gets destroyed, or the digital world gets destroyed, and they go to the real world, and basically they're just like normal people now. The visual concept really, I think, accurately executes the normal people vibe. The visual concept is very much bright, schoolgirl, house party, like frat party vibe. It feels very much as if aespa is in like the real world. Since Spicy brought all their heavy fighting lore to a standstill, as they're technically like in the real world now, they can now concept-wise do whatever. The creative directors used Spicy as an outlet to escape the eye concept that they knew people would eventually get bored of. So now they can explore any kind of sound, visual aesthetic, or vibe. Personally, I'm an eye lover, so this really hurts me to say, but this was actually a really smart choice. People have really short attention spans, so if they wanted aespa to succeed and hit new records, they had to be able to expand. The thing is, until Dirty Work, they had a very smart run of songs. From Drama to Whiplash, they used a specific strategy that was then thrown off balance by Dirty Work. Drama, Supernova, Armageddon, and Whiplash all kept a certain AI, cyber, tech, sci-fi aspect within them. Drama sounds very aespa, aggressive, sharp, and dark. It still feels like fighting Black Mamba in a way. Supernova is self-explanatory. That song is straight out of aespa's I days. Armageddon is a bit edgier, but has heavy sci-fi and tech aspects that make it still feel like aespa. Whiplash feels like it hints at lore, even if it is a little bit blurry. But that, plus the sharp robotic sound that Whiplash uses, it really feels like something that fits aespa's brand. Even though the eyes were gone, lore was dried out, and the ultra-heavy sci-fi vibes were stopped, this song run felt perfect. It felt like it fit. This title track run kept the aespa brand. Even though certain points are missing, you are still able to put all these songs into one group and think, yeah, these all sound like they were made by the same artist. With these songs, it still feels like there's an underlying lore, and in a way there is. Even though it is no longer the main focus, there is some kind of side plot happening in the music videos. It takes some effort to figure out what the heck is going on, but what matters is that you still feel a backbone holding up these songs. The backbone in question is the lore, a story, a meaning. Basically, aespa's creative directors realized that sooner or later they will need to refresh and give the audience something new. So they made a clean exit for themselves from the lore and concept by using the guys that they destroyed the opponent and are now in the real world. The directors, though, considered that aespa already has a solid brand that has brought them success. So instead of completely throwing it away, they use it as a backbone for their new releases. This works incredibly well. In my time as a K-pop stan, I don't think I've seen such a successful run as aespa's Drama, Supernova, Armageddon, Whiplash. And that's not like a trilogy. Usually trilogies are super successful. That's like 4 songs in a row. These releases feel fresh, but still signature aespa. It's just like aespa with a new edge. Dirty Work destroys this perfect run. Dirty Work has been one of aespa's least successful releases. Part of this is because of the song itself, which I won't focus on right now, but I want to lightly touch on that later. What I'm gonna bring up is the other big player, which is that Dirty Work is when aespa completely abandons their brand. They broke their spine. They completely let go of their backbone. Completely. There are absolutely no techie, sci-fi, AI, futuristic, or lore aspects in this song, both visually and sonically. If you really look at it, nothing about this song feels aespa. Not one thing. Sure, it sounds harsh and girl crushy, but in terms of aespa's exclusive aespa brand, this doesn't tie into it at all. Look at it like this. If this song wasn't released by aespa, but instead Blackpink, would your first thought be, oh, this is 100% sounds like aespa? No, because nothing about this song or concept is aespa exclusive. Dirty Work stands out as an oddball in aespa's title track discography. Dirty Work would have gotten away with being an aespa song if it was an insignificant B-side, but Dirty Work is a title track. And not just any title track, it's a single. It's supposed to be well-rounded and represent aespa, but to me, it just seems like some Western rapper's throwaway song. Dirty Work breaks the rules of aespa's brand, their reputation. My main point in this video was to talk about the branding aspect of Dirty Work that failed, but I do want to quickly touch on some other concept/industry stuff that caused aespa to horribly execute Dirty Work. Excuse my name butchering, but Cho Jimmy has a wonderful video for more of the in-depth sonic analysis aspect of Dirty Work, but I want to explore more of a kind of philosophical lens for this segment. As a concept, Dirty Work is very suggestive, messy, sloppy, overconfident, and dirty. aespa's rendition of the song and dance failed to execute this. aespa performing this song feels like they're trying to be someone they are not. What is supposed to be the relaxed, I'm better than you vibe comes across as very try-hard, and the way they execute the dance is a bit too accurate, too clean, too sharp. aespa would have never been able to properly execute a song like Dirty Work. I don't think any idol group would. This is because K-pop could never and will never be dirty. Now, I don't mean dirty as in inappropriate, like suggestive lyrics. K-pop has plenty of suggestive songs. I mean dirty as in dirty. You have K-pop groups that can execute a playful suggestiveness or a sultry suggestiveness, but you will never have a K-pop group that will execute a dirty type of suggestiveness. Dirty suggestiveness is a very popular style in the Western music industry. A lot of modern, especially female rappers, like to or are heavily encouraged by their companies to go for this visual and lyrical style. It's a very messy and carefree type of suggestiveness. An artist that can be used as an example for this type of style is Charlie XCX, which is not a rapper, but if you look at what goes into the dirty type of suggestiveness style, the K-pop industry is kind of like the complete opposite. When you become a trainee, they reshape you like a ball of clay into the most picture-perfect, clean-cut, manufactured copy of an idol. You get plastic surgery to look like everyone else, you starve yourself to look weak and approachable, you use respectful language, and you never ever ever make a mistake. Your dancing is perfectly clean, the months of practice visible in your muscle memory. The K-pop industry is like the heavy-duty cleaning bleach of music industries. No matter if the concept of the group is girl crush or self-confidence, at the end of the day, the K-pop industry wants you to have one image. One of the reasons Lisa struggled in her Western solo career is because she is a perfectionist raised in the K-pop industry. One of the many idols that just cannot let themselves relax and truly be who they are, as that would mean showing their flaws. It's why her lyrics feel so impersonal. When you listen and watch Dirty Work, something feels off. aespa's lines are too perfect, their vocals are too uptight, and formations too clean. They aren't dirty. Dirty is a concept only someone with the freedom of the Western industry could do. Dirty Work was SM attempting to K-pop industryify, which should have been a Western artist song. Dirty Work has like an alternative version featuring Flo Milli on it, and she replaces Giselle and Ningning's rap. I've heard people say that in comparison to Flo Milli, Giselle and Ningning's own raps sound too K-poppy and polished for a dirty type of style. Even though the song got mixed to negative reviews, there were still fans that really enjoyed the song. In my personal opinion though, I hope that in the future, SM doesn't do anything like it again. I think it's clear that K-pop idols can't do a dirty style, no matter how much mud they play in. aespa has had great success with K-pop industry performance type songs and execute those perfectly, so I think honing in on that is SM's best game plan. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Next, the next release, the second Fix on ice cold with no chaser. Let's cut it sharp like a razor. This is because K-pop could never